You're rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of...
After a long wait, Yamaha finally made their move. The fork tuning team, known for its loyalty to the inline-4 engine configuration, has now officially tested their V4 engine privately at the Valencia circuit. A surprising move but highly anticipated by MotoGP fans, especially Fabio Quartararo fans. This V4 engine is said to be Yamaha's secret weapon to return to the front row. After several seasons of struggle, where Quartararo had to struggle with the lack of power and top speed of his motorbike, finally there is a glimmer of hope. Does this mean that Yamaha is ready to change the direction of its technical philosophy in order to achieve victory? This private test was carried out behind closed doors, without the presence of major media, indicating how important and secret this project is. Fabio himself is reportedly very enthusiastic and can't wait to try out the performance of this new engine. The question now is this V4 engine enough to make Quartararo go crazy on the track again? Will we see Yamaha compete closely with Ducati, KTM, and Aprilia, who have long used the V4 engine configuration? If the results of the test in Valencia are positive, this could be a turning point for Yamaha. Not only in terms of motorcycle performance, but also in their strategy and philosophy of developing technology in the future. And hear the full news. Yamaha has finally made a big breakthrough. After years of sticking with the inline-4 engine philosophy that has been deeply embedded in their DNA, they are now officially preparing and testing a V4 engine, something that has so far only been speculation and hopes of their fans. And what's even more surprising, this V4 engine will be tested privately at the Valencia circuit, without much public attention. This is not just an ordinary test. This is a turning point. It could be Yamaha's secret weapon to rise and reclaim its glory in MotoGP. Why is this V4 engine in the spotlight? Yamaha has been known as the only major manufacturer in MotoGP that still sticks with the inline-4 engine. Although this configuration offers agility and stability in corners, Yamaha has recently struggled to catch up with the top speed of its rivals such as Ducati, KTM, and Aprilia, all of which use V4 engines. Fabio Quartararo, the 2021 world champion and Yamaha's current main star, has repeatedly voiced his disappointment with the performance of the YZR M1 motorbike. He was frustrated that he had to fight tooth and nail just to stay in the top 10, let alone get on the podium. The power of the V4 engine on his rivals really made a difference, especially when exiting corners and on the straights. And now for the first time, Yamaha has answered that need. They have not only listened to Quartararo's complaints, but have also really started to move in a direction that has been considered taboo for them. Private test in Valencia, big signal for 2025? Yamaha's V4 engine was held for a private test in Valencia, outside the official schedule. This means that Yamaha wants to test this concept seriously, but still on a limited radar. Not wanting to be reckless, but also not wanting to be left too far behind. There are no official details yet about who will test the engine, whether Fabio Quartararo himself or their mainstay test rider, Cal Crutchlow. But the presence of this bike itself is big news. Does this mean that the V4 engine will be used immediately in the 2025 season? Not necessarily. But if the test results show great potential, it is likely that development will be accelerated. What impact will it have on Fabio Quartararo? For Fabio, this could be a defining moment for his career at Yamaha. His contract, his performance, and even his future in MotoGP are heavily influenced by one thing: a competitive bike. If this V4 engine is able to overcome the shortcomings that have haunted Yamaha, namely acceleration, speed on the straights, and competitiveness when dueling with Ducati, then Quartararo could return to his best form. In fact, it is not impossible that we will see a more brutal, aggressive, and confident version of Guel Diablo on the track. Just imagine Quartararo's flexible and precise racing style, combined with the monster power of the V4 engine. The result? Perhaps one of the deadliest combinations on the MotoGP grid. Is this enough to turn things around? The engine alone is not enough. In addition to power, Yamaha also needs to improve their aerodynamics, electronics, and tire management. However, this V4 engine could be a big foundation that makes all other elements develop. And most importantly, it is a signal that Yamaha is no longer stubborn, no longer wants to win only on their own terms. They are now willing to change, adapt, and perhaps totally transform in order to become champions again. Conclusion: Yamaha has finally revealed their secret weapon. The long mythical V4 engine is now becoming a reality. The Valencia test could be the beginning of a major revolution in the Japanese factory team. And for Fabio Quartararo, this is a breath of fresh air. Maybe he will finally get a bike that suits his talent and courage. A bike that can make him go crazy again. A bike that can make him a world champion again. Let's wait for the test results. But one thing is for sure, MotoGP 2025 will never be the same again. I thought I knew who my opponent was at the front. It turns out I was very wrong. That sentence came out of Jack Miller's mouth in a half-joking, half-serious tone, after the Qatar 2025 MotoGP sprint race. The Pramac Yamaha rider had just completed one of the most intense races he has ever experienced at the Lusail International Circuit, and what surprised him most that night was not who won, but how it was achieved. Yamaha's premier rider Fabio Quartararo was outstanding in the season-opening sprint race. After an up-and-down 2024 season, many viewed Quartararo and Yamaha with skepticism. But that night, under the bright lights of Lusail, Fabio erased those doubts in style. Yamaha's resurgence. Yamaha came into the 2025 season with many question marks. The previous season closed with underwhelming results. Problems with acceleration, electronics, and bike stability made it difficult for Quartararo to fight at the top consistently. But the 2024/2025 off-season was a big turning point. With an influx of new engineers from Europe and Japan, including former technicians from F1 teams, Yamaha focused on developing the chassis and electronic systems. The result is a YZR M1 that looks much more stable, responsive and aggressive, exactly what Quartararo needs. Since the pre-season tests, I already felt this bike was different, Fabio said in the press conference after the sprint race. We still have a lot to improve, but tonight is proof that our hard work is starting to pay off. Sprint race action, spectacular moments at Lusail. Fabio started the sprint from 4th on the grid, while Jack Miller was right behind him in 6th. When the starting lights went out, Miller overtook Fabio on the first lap. However, the moment of surprise came on the second lap, when Quartararo began to find his rhythm. In less than 2 laps, Quartararo overtook 2 riders at once at the 4th corner, a maneuver that is almost impossible to pull off in that part of the circuit due to the narrow and slippery characteristics of the track. But Fabio did it perfectly, cleanly, precisely, and without contact. Jack Miller, who watched the maneuver from behind, could only shake his head. He seemed to be racing on his own. I didn't see a gap there, but he came in like the track was his, Miller said in awe. I've been racing for more than a decade, and rarely have I seen such a clean maneuver at Lusail. After taking the race lead, Quartararo didn't look back. He continued to widen the gap to the riders behind, including Francesco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin, who also performed strongly. In every sector, the data showed Quartararo posting consistent times, even breaking the sprint race lap record in Qatar. Miller, between admiration and concern. On the other hand, Jack Miller could not hide his frustration with the performance of his bike, which was not fully competitive. Although Pramac Yamaha has shown progress since last season, Miller feels there is still a significant gap compared to the factory Yamaha bike ridden by Fabio. We know they have more resources and access to faster updates. But still, the performance tonight was incredible, Miller said. For us in the satellite team, this is an alarm. We have to move quickly if we don't want to fall too far behind at the start of the season. However, Miller still gave genuine praise to Quartararo. In a racing world full of competition and ego, words like this are rare. Fabio is one of the best riders of this generation. When he feels comfortable on the bike, there's not much that can stop him. And tonight, everyone saw that. Paddock response and 2025 season expectations. Praise for Quartararo didn't just come from Miller. Several other riders, including Marc Marquez and Pedro Acosta, also called Fabio's performance an early warning that Yamaha is no longer a team to be taken lightly. Even the Ducati team manager admitted that Fabio's speed data in fast corners should be watched out for. Meanwhile, Yamaha fans cheered on social media. After a difficult season, Quartararo's return to the top flight gave new hope to the manufacturer from Iwata. Many believe that if Yamaha is able to maintain this development, Quartararo could again become a world title contender, just as he was when he took the title in 2021. Heading into the main race, all eyes on Fabio. With such a strong sprint race result, Sunday's main race will be a huge battle. Can Quartararo maintain his momentum and take full control of Losail? Or will other riders like Miller, Bagnaia, or Jorge Martin put up a fight? Jack Miller himself admitted that he would not remain silent. The sprint is one thing, but the main race is a different story. We will analyze the data tonight, find where we lost, and come back to attack tomorrow. But one thing is certain, Fabio is now everyone's target. MotoGP 2025 has only just begun, but the atmosphere already feels like mid-season, hot, full of drama, and full of surprises. And behind it all, there is one name that is back in the limelight, Fabio Quartararo.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me, cause she got a bad little waist. And we tearing down this place, off the liquor that we chase. Got some egos to the face, baby I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside. Triggers fast once she's naked, her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his